All right, lesson 4, page 2. Let's add and subtract rational expressions without a common denominator. First, we find the LCD, form our equivalent fractions, and then combine. So, all right, let's look at the first one. What would be the LCD of this term and this term here? Well, we know for the numerical coefficients, the 3 goes into the 6, so we can use the 6, okay? And then we take the highest exponent off the variables. So we have A's and B's. So A is 2 is the highest one, and B 4 is the highest one, okay? So that is my LCD. So I'm eventually making 6A squared B 4 plus 6A squared B4. All right, now I need to make two equivalent fractions. So I need to take this fraction here and turn it into an equivalent fraction with this 6 over there. So obviously we multiplied it by 2, right, to get the 6. It already had the A squared and some B. It had one B. It needs 3 more B's. All right, to get to this over there. So this one needs to be multiplied by 2b3. So 7 times 2 is 14. It has an A and it has a b3. So that's an equivalent fraction. This one here is equivalent to that one there. Okay? Because the same thing was multiplied to the denominator as the numerator. It makes it equivalent. All right, now how does this one go to that one? Well, 6 is the same, so not multiplying by anything numerical coefficient. It has one A, but it needs another A. It needs also a, well, it doesn't need a B. It already had a B4, so it just needs an A. All right, so that got multiplied by an A, and that gets multiplied by an A. So 4AB. That's done. Okay, let me make some room here. All right, so now we're going to see how this is the same thing here. So let's write that once. I'm going to do it way over here, so I got a little space here. Now I need to, that's a 2. I need to combine the tops. So I have 14AB3 plus 4AB. Now, I can't reduce anything, but what I can do, because of this plus here, I can't just cross anything out, okay? But what I can do is see if there's a greatest common factor to pull it out. All right, so 14 and 4, what do they have in common? They have a 2 in common. They both have an A, and they both have at least one B. All right, so 14AB3, if I take out a 2AB, what do I have left? I have a 7. The A is gone, and then I have, what, 2 more B's left. All right, and I take a 2 out of the 4, I have a 2 left, and then I have an AB, and that's it. So I just have a 2 left. So that's the greatest common factor of those two terms in the numerator, okay? And then this is all over 6A2B4. So we can reduce an A out, okay? Obviously the 2 comes out. And 1B makes that a 3. All right, so my final answer is 7B squared plus 2 over 3AB to the third. There's a lot of steps in that little tiny box. If you need bigger paper, please put it on a big notebook paper, okay? All right, next one, step 1, LCD. LCD of 5A and 2A squared. Well, 5 and 4 have no factors in common, so you got to multiply them together to get the numerical coefficient. And then one of them has a 1a, and the other one has an a squared. So we're definitely using the a squared. That's my LCD. All right, so I'm going to need to convert the first fraction to having that on the bottom. And, oops, it's a negative. And that on the bottom. Oops, no, sorry. My brain's always going ahead here. A squared. Okay. So, how do we make 5a? How do we make 5a into a 20a squared? It must have been multiplied by 4 and another a. Okay? 4 times 5. Does that make sense? So this is times 4a. It's got to be multiplied by the same thing. So 4 times 4 would be 16a. All right? Do you get what we're doing? Do I need to write it separately? This definitely equals that. Okay? Because this got multiplied by 4a, and this got multiplied by 4a. That's all we're doing. And then we're putting them there. Okay? And I need the space. I'm going to take that off. All right. Let's see. How do we go from 4a to 20a squared? Oops. We multiplied by 5. Is that all we did? I think that's all we did because I already had an a squared. So this gets multiplied by 5. So this is 35b. Okay. So this all goes over 20. Now we can combine them. I'm trying to write an A. Sorry, that just looks messy. A. Minus 35b. And they don't have any, there's no greater common factor to take out, and that's my final answer right there. Okay. All right, let's try this one over here. Those were monomials, right? These are binomials, so we need to be factored. Take out the greatest common factor of 4. This is 2a plus 1, and that's an 8. So my LCD is going to be what? It's going to be an 8. I can use the 8 and 2a plus 1, right? Think about it. We have a factor of 8. We have a factor of 4. We have a factor of 2a plus 1. That's a factor. Okay, the 4 can go in the 8, so we're covered there. And then we need this one here. Okay. Okay. So this is going to turn into 8 2a plus 1 plus 8 2a plus 1. All right. What was multiplied by this to make that? All you needed was a 2. Okay, so all we're going to multiply the 6 by is a 2, so that's a 12. All right, but this got multiplied by a 2a plus 1. So this needs to multiply by 2a plus 1. So 3a, 2a plus 1. We'll have to distribute that in a second here. So this is all going to be over 8 2a plus 1. So we have a 12 plus, let's go ahead and distribute this. This is 6a squared plus 3a. All right. That is in a funny order. Let's see. It's not a proper order to see if it needs to be factored. It has a greatest common factor. Let's take that out first. What color do you think? Oh, well, does this funny color work? Let's see. Greatest common factor would be 3. Ooh, that looks very light. Let's do the red. 3. If I take a 3 out, what do I got left? I got a 2a squared plus a plus 4. I don't know if that's going to factor. I don't think so. I need to check though. Because what if it's an a plus 1? It would be able to be reduced. And 3 doesn't come out either. So let me check over here for a minute. 2a squared plus a plus 4. Does that factor? I need to know. 2a plus. Is there any way to make, let's see, the 4 would be a 1 and a 4, or a 4 and a 1, or a 2 and a 2. If I put a 2 and a 2, that's going to make 4 and 2, that makes 6. That's not going to work. If you make a 4 and a 1, that's going to make 6, and that's not going to work. If you make a 1 and a 4, that's going to make 9. That's not, it doesn't factor. So that one does not factor. So even though we separated the stuffings out of it, it doesn't factor. So even the 3 doesn't come out of the 8. So any way you want to leave this will be fine. In fact, you could just circle that and say that is the answer because that doesn't factor. Okay? Some of them reduce, some of them don't. All right, this one, let's find out what this is. Minus, 3, 4. Oops, forgot the x part. All right, so that they have in common. So this is the LCD. So x minus 3, x minus 4. So that means this got multiplied by x minus 3. So this gets multiplied by x minus 3. Oops. It doesn't matter about the order. And then I need to distribute the negative. So this is going to be x minus 3, x minus 4. And this is going to be the same. But now it's going to be negative x minus 1. Okay, so then this all gets combined together. And I need to FOIL this back together. This is x squared plus x, or 1x, minus 3x minus 3. So this is going to be x squared, combined like terms, and then minus x minus 1. Wow, this one's complicated. All right, so that's going to be x squared, and then I have this right here and this one right here. That's going to make negative 3x, and this one make a negative 4. That might factor, so hang on. Let's see if that factors. X plus minus, yep, 4, 1. It does. And then, look here. This one and that one come out. So my final answer is x plus 1 over x minus 3. Make sure that's correct on the key here. Alrighty. Wow. And I fit it into a little tiny block right there. Please use more space somewhere else if you need to. Alright. Now, this one confuses people because that really looks like this. But understand that this one over here, the signs are messed up. Even if you turn it around, that does not make that. So that is not that. But I'm trying to find an LCD between them So if you pull out of negative, you will get that. So actually, this term here is two factors, a -1 and an x minus 5. So this is the greatest common factor, because if you multiply this, that'll be the LCD. So the LCD is your 5 minus x, okay? Or negative x minus 5. They're equivalent things, okay? So that means I can keep the second equation, and all I have to do is multiply this one by a -1. So this is going to be a -3 over negative x minus 5, and this one's going to be the same. Okay, I just wrote it that way instead, just to check and see if anything's going to come out. Okay, so, or reduced away, or however you want to say that. That's going to be a 5. Oh, I don't think there's anything to do with that. So your answer can be this, or your answer can be that. Okay, you cannot reduce those 5s because of the plus or the minus signs in there. All right, that whole thing is the factor. If there was a 5 outside the parentheses, you could, but you can't inside the parentheses. Okay. Alrighty. 1 plus that. Okay. So guess what the LCD is then? The LCD. Sorry, my L's look like my C's. LCD is 6A. Okay. So you want to be able to have 6A here and 6A here. Well, we get to keep the 5. So what does this need to be multiplied by? 6A, 6A. So this is going to be 6A, right? That was kind of the long way of saying 6A over 6A is 1, right? So that's what it is. So I can add it together. So 6A plus 5 over 6A. And there's nothing you can do with that. You cannot reduce those 6A's out. I mean, we just fixed them. We just put them in there, so don't take them back out again, okay? The answer is not 5. I got to tell you, people put that. But it's 1 plus that fraction. So this represents a 1, okay? In 6A terms. 1 over 1, believe it or not, is equal to 6A over 6A, because we multiply by 6A. Multiplied by 6A. Okay. All right, that was the answer to that one. Got a few more here. All right, so these have no factors in common, so my LCD is all of them together. So the LCD is r plus 7, r minus 1. So r plus 7, r minus 1 plus r plus 7, r minus 1. All right, so this got multiplied by r minus 1. This got multiplied by r minus 1. So r minus 1 times r plus 9. This one got multiplied by r plus 7. So this gets multiplied by r plus 7. So r minus 8, r plus 7. All right, so then put that together, r plus 7. I know some of you don't do all of these steps. That's fine and dandy. Make sure you're showing your work somehow. All right, so this is going to be r minus 1. You know what, we're going to have to FOIL all those. I don't have a lot of space, so let me go ahead and FOIL them up here. Let's do it in another color. All right, so this times that, so that's r squared plus 9r minus 1r minus 9. All right, so that's going to be r squared, combined like terms would be plus 8r minus 9. Okay, this one is r squared plus 7r minus 8r minus 56. So this is going to be plus r squared, combine like terms, minus r, or you can put 1r, minus 56. Phew. And now we got to combine like terms. There's an r squared and there's an r squared. So that is 2r squared. There's an r and there's an r, so plus 7r. Negative 9, negative 56 is a minus what? I'm going to check the key, make sure I'm, yep, 64. Yep, I'm on track. And then I don't suppose that factors. Let's check. I'm going to write it here and then I'll erase it if it's not going to factor. Because, I mean, who knows? There's no greatest common factor, so you can't take the 2 out. Negative, positive, probably a positive negative, but I'm not sure. Factors of 64. 1 and 64. 2 and 32. 3 doesn't go in. 4 goes in. 2, 6, 26. I'm going to have to get out my calculator here and double check things, make sure. No, that's not right. That's not right. Hang on. I don't know all my factors of 64 here. Let's see. Sometimes if I can't think of my factors, that's 8 times 8. That's a whole lot of 2's. 64 divided by 4 is 16. Yeah, that makes more sense. And 8 and 8. I'm assuming 6 doesn't go in. All right, so I need 7. Oh my goodness, with the 2 in there. And my signs are opposite. Goodness, and I only need a 7, so I'm not using any of these big numbers. So you probably can't use any of these really big numbers. 16 minus, wait a minute. 16 minus 8, no. Let's try 8 and 8 for a minute here. Let's see, that's not a lot of small numbers. That'd be 16. That'd be a positive 16, and that would have to be a minus 8. 16 minus 8 is 8, not 7. So that doesn't factor. Ugh. Alright, so if it doesn't factor, then you have to leave what you get, which is going to be 2r squared plus 7r minus 64 over, I mean, you can put this back together if you want. It really doesn't matter. So I guess I'm not going to put it back together, because there's no way you're crossing out anything put together, only the factors. So if this doesn't factor, you're not crossing anything out, no matter whether you put that together or not. So that is your final answer. Okay. Yeah. All right. Over here we have this is my LCD, because this factor is in there already. Okay. So that means we can keep it the same. Is anybody shortcutting any one step by now? You don't have to write this double out if you don't want to. You can go right to the LCD would be this. Okay. Which means this got multiplied by that. Right, because this got multiplied by that. So you can go to r minus 6 right there. And in this case, minus 3, right? Because we're keeping that fraction the same. And this would be 2r minus 12, putting it together so I can incorporate that 3 in there. So 2r minus 15. And there is nothing alike about that. So my final answer, and there's no greatest common factor or anything. So that's got to be my final answer for that one. Okay. I put a lot of these on here because they're in the homework. So here's your examples for them. Okay. All right, let's try this one. I'm assuming this is probably in here, but let's find out. Plus minus is a plus minus. 15 would be a 3 and a 5. And if I make the 5 positive and put the 3 over here, I'll get the 2x. So, yep, that's in there. So this is going to be, that is my LCD. Okay. So that means I'm keeping the top the same, but I need to do something with this. Distribute that negative all the way through. This got multiplied by x minus 3. So x minus 3 times x minus 2 plus 9x plus 11. So this needs to be FOILed. So this is going to be x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. Goodness. So this is going to be x squared minus 5x plus 6. And I bet that factors. Oh, wait. I got to add this stuff to it. Hold on. Getting ahead of myself again. Plus 5. X minus 3. All right. Combine like terms. This one here. And this one here. And then this one and this one. So this is going to be x squared plus 4x plus 66. I think this one went sideways. I'm going to have to check it just a second. No, not 66. 17. Huh? Jeez. I guess I did just what I was going to say. 17. Let me check. That is that. And that's that. And that's what's in the key. Okay. That's not going to factor because that's 17's prime. So there's only 1 in 17. There's no way to get a 4 out of that when when A is not something other than 1. So that's not going to happen. So I am done. That's my final answer for that one. Okay. All right. This one, it's factored. It's a perfect square minus a perfect square. Has that as a factor, so that is my LCD. Let's get a little room here. So that means this is going to be x minus 2. My LCD is x minus 2, x plus 2. And that means this got multiplied by x minus 2. So this gets multiplied by x minus 2. So 5x plus 2 times x minus 2. Put that together. 5x plus 2x minus 4. Combine like terms. This is going to be 7x minus 4 over... You know what? Nothing's going to come out of this, so you might as well just write it back the way it was. It's just shorter either way. And that's the answer to that one. Okay?